Welcome to Coleman Report Live. I'm Bob Coleman, and we're talking Main Street and the small business lenders who help it grow. I got to do this. It's going to be 68 here today, so and I have power. So, but Florida's okay, right, Chris?
Florida's doing just fine. We're in the mid 70s today. Yep.
Yeah, I know Katie is shoveling out. Chris Hearn, CEO, co-founder of Fountainhead Capital. You been busy?
A little bit, yeah, a little bit.
Good. Please ask questions. There's a certificate. Let's get into it. What percentage of your PPP 2.0 loan applications have a first draw loan? $63. Oh, actually, that's a little bit lower than I thought, Chris.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. I think this is one of your trick questions, Bob. So are we saying like this round of PPP have a first draw? So like you can't get a second draw without a first draw.
I just want to know who's getting a 2.0, who didn't get a first 1.0. That's all I wanted to know.
Okay.
So just 10 to 20% are saying they're focusing on second round. Over 2/3 say that. So I was just curious in terms of industry-wide, with people getting 2.0 or 1.0. Let me interrupt, Chris. Katie talked about a story on Friday about a new restaurant, $25 billion program. Do you know anything about that for restaurants? Are you aware of that, Chris?
Oh, yeah, there's a program that's, I don't know if he's heard much about it yet, but there's a program that has been proposed and it's passed in the House Small Business Committee, and it's basically going to probably be a grant program specifically for small business restaurants that are continuing to struggle.
But it's a huge number, 25 billion. Sorry, Chris, I didn't mean to put you in the deer in the headlights question.
No. I thought you were actually asking the question to Katie, so I was.
All right, well.
That's okay.
All right, okay, I'll go back to the script. I understand I had said that was on me.
This is Bob off script.
Have you gone through the forgiveness process for PPP first draw loans? And
I would guess that's almost everybody has done at least one.
Yeah, 98%. Yeah. I think what I really want to know is what percentage of forgiveness are we doing? That's what I was more curious about. So let me ask Chris. Chris, of your first draw PPP borrowers, what percentage have gone through the forgiveness process?
20-some% maybe.
So it's still pretty low.
Still pretty low, and part of that is frankly, there's only so much you can put through the through the tube right now. I know there's a lot of very large institutions that have basically suspended their forgiveness at the moment because they can't have bodies to do,
Yeah, we had a question on last week about infrastructure, and is that causing your 7(a) production go down because of PPP? And I think overwhelmingly people said yes. And this one, I know this is a softball, but I want to ask it anyway, and I want to judge how critical this is. And I think I'm guessing 90%. But I want to see if my math is right here. Ooh,
close.
Well, not as high as I thought. 20% nice to have categories. So one in five they need it, but I read between the lines is they don't need that to stay in business with it. 4 and 5 do.
Yeah, but I think I've had this conversation with a few people who were unsure, kind of on the fence whether they should apply for second draw or not, and a lot of times it comes down to that nobody knows what's around the corner yet. Things seem to be going okay at the moment. Maybe we're well on our way to vaccinating most Americans in the next 90 days or something, but business owners just don't know, and they've got to somewhat prepare for the unknown. And so I think there's a lot of people that are cautiously optimistic and are still applying for a second draw nonetheless, whether it's going to save the business entirely or maybe just stabilize the business going forward.
Well, no matter where you are in the economic cycle, cash is king. So if these people are eligible, that's what it's for. That's what it's for. If they don't need it, put it on the shelf and as a cushion, because I know we all can drive around our local footprints, our local main streets, and see store closed, store closed, store closed signs. So we're not out of the woods yet. Katie, what's going on with this? There's a procedure notice for SBA's clarifying the 11-12 payments. What do we got?
Yeah, so this one's specifically on establishing maturities for 7A loans within that February 1st to September 30th time frame, and really what they're trying to get at and overall what you need to get out of this procedural notice is that you can't change the repayment schedule. You can't change the maturity dates to make it fit so that your borrower will receive these 11-12 payments. You have to use your normal underwriting process, your normal repayment schedule, and things like that for the purpose of 11-12 payments.
And let's see, we talked about hold codes a little bit. Why don't you give us a quick update on that?
Yeah, so are we skipping this one? This is just
let me look at the script.
this
All
is
right,
another.
We have to register for SAM. What does SAM stand for?
Oh gosh, I don't remember.
I don't either, so don't ask me. But yeah, everybody's got to be registered for it.
Yeah, this one's just
with the government.
Yeah, this is just a notice reminding everyone that they need to be signing up for registering for SAM. That applies to 7A lenders and PPP lenders, as well as CDCs and microloan intermediaries. A lot of PPP lenders weren't quite sure if they needed to do this or not. So they do have 30 days from the date of their first PPP loan disbursement made by on or after December 27th. So that's probably coming up here pretty quick. So anybody who isn't signed up for that, you need to go do that.
We're talking about 7A lenders, PPP lenders. Are we talking about institutions or are we talking about individuals?
Oh, we're talking about institutions.
Mostly institutions, but it does say lenders on there. So yeah.
No, but it is institutions, correct, Chris?
Yes, yes.
All right. Now we can talk about hold codes. Here we go. Now we're back on track here. What do we got on here, Katie? This came through for last week. Just give us a quick little update on that.
Yeah, so the hold code stuff has been revised a little bit to try and make it a little bit easier. I know some people are still struggling with it, but 13 of those, the most common hold codes, are supposedly now able to be cleared using a lender certification process. So that process will just involve collecting the documents, making sure that you have ample proof that you can actually clear that hold code and that hold should not be there. And then you certify that you have those documents. When they apply for forgiveness, you're going to submit those documents along with their forgiveness application. The other hold codes, there's still some that are going to require SBA to approve and look through. They're obviously not among the 13 most common, but some of them are fairly common, unfortunately. So what you're going to do is you're going to go through the ones that you can handle yourself first, get all of those resolved, and then if you have any that the SBA needs to resolve, then you'll send out the information that the SBA needs so that they can resolve those others.
Chris, how much has this streamlined your operations at your place?
It hasn't much at all. I mean, I think it was a step in the right direction, but I frankly don't think it's gone nearly as far as it should. You know, these hold codes have strangled the industry for the last almost 3 weeks now, and you know, I have 10% of my staff. That's all they do is try to overcome the hold codes. So it's great that we can do a lender certification, but you still have to have the documentation, which means you have to go back. You have to collect it. You have to try to explain to a borrower who's frustrated and not sure why on earth I have to prove that I have a social security number or I have an EIN that I have to go dig out my IRS letter for. I mean, some of these are just mind-bogglingly silly, and I know that my view is shared by most in the industry. This is not been an easy time these last 3 weeks.
Chris, I think the last time we ran this survey was 20% of loans were getting hold codes. Is that?
I'd say, 20, 25% is off the top of my head. It's probably about right. Yeah. And a lot of it is, some of it comes from just frankly mistakes from the first draw lender that have never been rectified and that are very difficult to rectify. I mean, there's certain error codes that there's nothing you can do short of go back to the borrower and say, well, you need to go with your first draw lender and or you need to call your district office and tell them you don't want to use your first draw lender, you want to go with somebody else. And that's just not very palatable in most cases.
Right. unfortunately, when Lance was on last week, we were talking about this, and he said at some point in time you have to just wave the white flag and move on, which is unfair to your borrower, to the employees, and
well,
to your
and
reputation.
now the other thing that's happening, which we've recently uncovered, is if you've had things that have been under review or requiring further investigation, now SBA is just basically deleting the files after so many days.
Nice.
Yeah. So then you find out that you apparently have only had it in there for 2 or 5 days waiting for them, and then they just get rid of the file, and then of course then you got to go back and you're going to waste more time talking with the borrower, explaining what's happened and why it may have happened, and it just shows a lot of chaos, which is unnecessary. I don't want to see that for SBA. I don't want to see that to the small business community, and I certainly as a lender don't want to be involved in that. But that's what we're dealing with right now. It's very frustrating, and I know the folks in Washington know it, and I know they're trying to.
I mean, this is not news. This is not news. Yeah. To them.
I don't think we're there yet. I don't think we've reached maximum hold co pain point just yet, but we're getting there.
I know you don't have a specific number, but how long on average does it take to clear one of these codes?
It depends on the code, Bob. I mean, there's 49 different ones. A handful of them are fairly easy. We can go back into our software and make a few changes and fix things fairly simple, like literally within minutes. Other things, it's mind-boggling. Some things, it's always fun when you're talking to a borrower who's supposed to be deceased, for instance. That's always interesting. Little things like that, having to prove that the borrower is who he says he is. That's not exactly the message that you want to have to deliver from SBA.
Right.
But we've had to deal with certain things. I mean, sometimes it takes hours to collectively to try and clear one of these.
No, I know, and as you said, this is not news to SBA. They understand it. Vicki and Monica have come to our rescue. SAM stands for System for Award Management. So
that's right. Yeah. Good job, Vicki.
Yeah, that's right, of course. Thank you. Hey, congratulations, Renee Bender. She was the Senate. Well, I think she was I know she was with Senator Rubio, and now she's joined
the Small Business Committee staff. She was the main staff.
Lady to work with. So congratulations, Renee, and good for you.
Congrats.
That's a good gig for her. So, and Renee's a person. She'll pick up the phone and talk to you.
Right. Yep. She's one of the good ones.
Questions? Any direction regarding 7A loan payments that do not have a within the February to April window for the free payments? And the answer on Lance was, yeah, and then we start payments in May. A couple of comments. There was a typo that's going to be addressed, and just to be clear, the first loan disbursement you have until December 21st, 2021 to complete the SAM registration. So that's minor. Jared asked these questions, and we all the time, Chris, and I'll you as a C-suite. What do you do when someone comes to this? I'm getting a system error that says the customer has a first round loan and they don't. What do I do, Chris?
Right. Yeah, so I think this is one that you've got to submit it into SBA 7A questions and try to prove that they don't have a first round loan. We also have situations where unfortunately user error borrowers are notorious of inputting the wrong amount for the first draw loan. That's always fun to resolve that, but that one's actually fairly easy to resolve. To prove that a borrower doesn't have a first round loan is somewhat more problematic for sure. I'm sorry, Jared. I've seen the same mistake.
How does that happen? Any idea?
Honestly, I don't know. I've got like I said,
that happen. You just
my team that this is what they're working on, stuff like this. Yeah.
Chris, John wants to know how are you addressing the DUNS issue, the DUNS numbers?
Again, that's a specific one. I'm not really sure what the guys on my team are working on that. I do know that Dun & Bradstreet and LexisNexis and some other large databases are what's running behind the scenes, which is somewhat causing some of these problems. And of course, the data is different for all of those. And in particular, Dun & Bradstreet, that's user submitted information. So I'm a little shocked that SBA chose to use them as one of the major validators, but I think that's also causing a lot of some of these problems.
Chris, do you have any opinions about, thank you for the question, Ralph. First of all, Katie may know this one. We have to get back. We have 30 days as a lender to respond. Katie, is it calendar days or business days?
That is a good question because I copied that straight from the notice that the SBA sent out. So I don't believe they specified on that. I would just do my due diligence and try to get it done as quickly as possible. But I don't believe they specified.
Well, let's skip to question 3 was what happens if the lender takes more than 30 days? What happens then?
That's something else that we don't know. It wasn't in there.
So let's don't find out. Let's don't find out what happens with that.
So Ralph is asking his bank is taking 30 days to decision a deal? Is that what this is?
No, they have the question. They want to know what is 30 days? Is it calendar days or is it business days? That's the question.
Oh, I thought this was about SAMs. Let me read this again. TPP requirement. I don't know how they're handling that right now. Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't know.
All right, that's fine. And finally, question number 2, if the bank believes the amount is eligible amount is lower than the request amount, can the bank go back and make the change and approve it as a lower amount, or do we have to decline it and start all over?
I mean, if you want me to answer, Bob, I mean, there's plenty of submissions that the documentation does not support the loan amount. And if we had to decline it and then request that they submit new information in order to support that, I think that would incapacitate the lender. So we review, we do the reasonable review that SBA regs require us to, and if we believe the loan amount is lower, we approve them for the lower amount, and that's what we give to the borrower. Yeah, and if they have a problem with it and they don't want to take that lower loan amount, then fine, we'll withdraw the loan, cancel it, and they can go try to find somebody else to do the loan. So I think that's good practice.
I want to jump to this comment by Shane, which I think is very helpful. Shane says, for some system errors, we've just resubmitted it. It's 4 times, but it finally gets accepted. Is that?
Shane, we've submitted some loans 7 and 8 times and got accepted. I don't know why. So, and that seems to be not a terribly efficient system, but
it works.
Yeah.
Very good. Jim, we're going to hold this over till tomorrow. We'll let Lance go through the dates. So thank you. Hey, we thank you for all the questions. Let's see. We have a couple webinars coming up. We're going to have Lance do his PPP this afternoon. And then we're going to redo the whole code webinar next Tuesday as well. So, and we're also going to, we decided this morning, we're going to talk about restaurants. I'm really concerned about that. And with everything that's going on, we're going to do a review on underwriting, servicing, as well as future potential litigation and liquidation of these loans. So we're going to put that program together for next week. Chris, thank you so much for joining us. I know you're a little busy.
Yeah, a little bit.
Katie, don't slip on the ice there as you're walking around. And I know a lot of other people are in the. I think, Chris, you were talking about your daughter down in Texas, Florida girl, and snowball fights in deep south.
Right. Just having fun. See how long it lasts.
Anyway, thank you for joining us today for Coleman Report Live and for supporting America's Main Street. Frozen it all, one entrepreneur at a time.
Have a great day.